Right. Iran attack damage wipes out 17% of Qatar's LNG capacity for 3 to 5 years, QatarEnergy CEO says. Right, let's see what Reddit has to say. Let's sort by top. Let's see what the comments have to say. Nothing's been resolved, so it's actually 17% for 3 to 5 years so far. Yeah. So, I mean, that's not even the worst case scenario, is it? I mean, 17% for 3 to 5 years. You might find that there's going to be further damage, further attacks. That percentage is going to go up, and that number 3 to 5 years is going to go up. So the damage is going to be, I assume, much more severe and much more lasting. So yeah, 3 to 5 years so far if they start repairs now. And they're not going to start repairs now, obviously, if they're under attack, and, you know, that would be painting another target on their backs. Yeah, which they won't, because bombs. I mean, yeah, exactly what I've just said. And it's specialized equipment made to order with lead times. So even if the bombing stops, there are months before anything can happen. Correct. Crazy how many people don't realize things take years of planning to pull off. Why AI has at least 10 years until it's what they promise today. Does a lot, but nothing of the utopian future they claim. Yeah, it's turning more into Skynet than into a utopian future when it comes to AI. So yeah. Is there a claim of a utopian future with AI? What's the claim? They'll use AI robots to mine, produce, and design everything the elite needs to live, while keeping the rest of us in slave camps, doing the few things they can't do with robots, and then picking and choosing which ones they use for entertainment or some shit. Utopia for them, but for the rest of us, it'll be hell. It's definitely turning into that. Their utopia is our dystopia. Christ, we're going to be Mad Maxing soon. Yep. We really are. Witness me is probably what Trump would say. What else have we got here? What they mean is that they lost 17% of their LNG tanks. Google those things. They are insane. They take a really long time to build. So if they started working to replace them today, they could be back at the same capacity 3 to 5 years. I worked on an LNG facility project for 3 years before they even broke ground. The whole tank farm was like 8 years from concept to completion, and they have like 8 tanks. Yeah, so these are not some small things that you can just, pop up overnight. Months and years of planning will go into it, and months and years worth of development will go into repairing. And that's if the war just stopped today and everything went back to normal, which, by the looks of things, isn't going to happen. Geez, the ripple effect this could do. 17% gone for 3 to 5 years is the kind of sentence that quietly ruins a whole lot of energy planners' weekends. Have you seen the prices? Qatar LNG supplies 19% of the entire world. This is like 4% of global supply gone for the next 5 years. Also, from the article, if I quote, the fallout extends well beyond LNG. Qatar's exports of condensate will drop by around 24%, while liquefied petroleum gas will fall 13%. Helium output will fall 14%, and naphtha and sulfur will both drop by 6%. Edit to add, Qatar LNG has also declared force majeure on their entire output, which means 19% of global supply is gone until further notice. And global LNG prices have gone up 25% now. The helium output cut will affect almost every industry: medical, automotive, semiconductors. Helium was already a tight product, and with a 15% cut, will increase prices much higher than 15%. Yeah, we're all going to be feeling it very soon, if not already. And to think people used to use helium to make Mickey Mouse voices. Yeah, let's look on the lighter side, because as I've said before, you can either laugh or you can cry. And we could definitely do with some laughing gas about now. Man, whatever investment Putin made in Trump is the best deal in the history of humanity. Yeah, well, it's probably like the Epstein files, maybe times 10. We don't know. I mean, sure, Israel probably conducted the Epstein files so that they could have control over Trump. And I'm sure that Russia and Putin did the exact same thing and have all kinds of compromat on Trump and can pull the strings just like a puppet master whenever they please. I mean, this war, even though Iran is an ally, is certainly helping them with the ease of sanctions and the fact that they're making billions now off their oil and gas and everything. It's kind of scary. A military foe so awesomely powerful they can't be conventionally challenged, and they've been driven to destroy themselves. When the dust settles, I think we'll be heading into an era of stricter media controls. Well, it seems like this is already happening. The question is, who will be in charge of the controls? Spoiler alert, it will be Republicans because nearly every billionaire is a Republican and they already control all the media. Any regulations Dem institute will either be ignored, sidestepped, or already outdated when it's written. 100%. And they'll claim it's for the children. Meanwhile, it's being spearheaded by the monsters in the Epstein files. What else we got here? We've got good news for the US LNG exporters and for Russia. There's been a lot of good news for Russia recently, hasn't there? I mean, sure, they're losing thousands of people in the war, but they're getting billions of dollars in oil and resources and stuff at the moment. The oligarchs are smiling. The true victor of this war is Russia. So tell me, Republicans, if Trump isn't a Russian asset, what would a Russian asset done differently? Because Trump did threaten attack on a NATO ally to annex their land, #Greenland, no more funding for Ukraine, complete destruction of US soft power worldwide by threatening everything and everyone with tariffs and dismantling US aid, fuels the fire of civil war by further dividing the nation along ideological lines, etc. And that's been going on for a decade now, if not longer, to be honest. Perhaps not some of this, but perhaps some of this, if you know what I'm saying. I'm 100% with you on this. When I think of a conspiracy, I bet my house on it, but have no proof of, that is it. There can't be another explanation. No other US president has catered so much to them. Didn't we have signs of proof when the investigation was ongoing, but it was then deleted? Yeah. Pretty sure his first campaign, he was surrounded by people connected to Russia, and his real estate deals prior all had Russian influence or connections. I believe one of his kids, I want to say Eric, was dumb enough to say they had no funding issues because of all their loans from Russia. Like, on its own, that's not enough, but it's sketchy as fuck at best. Then you see them being buddies with Putin in Alaska and removing sanctions, and apparently not caring that Americans are dying via Russia proxies like Iran. Yeah, safe to say he's a Russian asset. Probably safer even to say he's a friend of Russia, which any other president would have been destroyed over. But Trump, it's another Thursday, I guess. Yeah. Guess they want their $400 million plane back from Trump. I'm sure they would love that. I'm sure they're wishing that they hadn't gifted him that, although we don't really know entirely what they got for that. I mean, there was definitely some type of I give you this, you give me that type thing, but perhaps some of it is shrouded and we'll only find out in a few years what that exchange really was. The Qataris thought this was so funny. They forgot to bribe the actual president, Netanyahu. Hey look, Venezuela is suddenly a profitable place to invest in infrastructure. Unfortunately, oil infrastructure is also something that takes years to be put in place. It's kind of ironic that it can be destroyed overnight, as we're seeing. 80 years of progress on a global economy ruined by Trump in 3 weeks. I mean, could have been 3 days, probably was more like 3 days. So America is actively hurting the world for 3 to 5 years here, fantastic. Yeah, this is the best case scenario. I think 3 to 5 years is optimistic. I think that's like That's best case scenario. I think the damage that will be done overall and the amount of money it will take to repair everything and the amount of time it will take, logistics to get everything back to normal, I don't think we'll ever go back to pre-Iran war prices. I don't know. I want to be wrong on that, but I just don't see it happening. Literally what I've just said. Oh my God, look at that. I would bet that prices will never go down. Whatever happens now, they'll be pointing to this day and blaming the high costs of fuel on this for years. Just like how prices rose during COVID, then kept high whilst the weight and size of food product decreased. On how now companies will get money back from the tariffs, but the prices will stay the same and the consumer will pay it. Multiple record years for oil companies, endless bonus payouts for those high up in the companies, and the consumer will get fucked again, all because old billionaires who was on a high from using the military in Venezuela thought he could take out the leader of Iran and they would bow to America. The same guy who probably hasn't filled up his own car at the fuel pumps for 40 plus years. Dude, he has never filled up his own car. There's no ways he's ever done that. I'm sorry. Yeah, try never. That man has never paid for groceries or fuel ever. No, he never has and he never will. And that's fucked up. Renewables transition has never looked better. I mean, sure, but that's going to take a lot of time and a lot of money. And right now, we may have time, who knows, but right now we're all running a bit short on the money. So yeah. Renewables don't provide sulfur, which is the most crucial chemical for practically every industry from medicine to electronics. Impeach. We'll see. We'll see in November what happens. But I mean, obviously they're going to bring that, and we'll see how far it goes. Will they be able to convict? Who the fuck knows? Hopefully. But by then, how much damage will be done? You know what I mean? Like, we've got to wait until November. We're in fucking March. That is a long time. That is a lot of bombs that can be dropped and a lot more countries that can be invaded and fucked up. There's no ways he's just going to pull out of Iran anytime soon and be like, yeah, that's it. I'm going to call it a day. No, we know he's going into Cuba next. We know this. We know this. And then after Cuba, he might get bored and think, what about Mexico? Or, hey, what about Canada again? Or God forbid, what about Greenland? No one could have predicted this. Yep. You don't even need the sarcasm anymore. I mean, yeah. But Kegseth said that Iran's military capacity was at 0%. That dude is drunk and not very clever. So let's have a quick look at some of the controversial comments. Not like we've missed them already, but let's see what Reddit has to say. Wait, what about the amount caused by Israel's attack yesterday? I'm sure that affected Qatar as well, no? Why does this report make it sound like it was all on Iran? Because Israel's attack on Iran, the oil doesn't blow up the oil in Qatar. The attack on Qatar is 100% caused by Iran and Iran alone. Nobody is responsible for the things Iran attacks except Iran itself. Nobody forced them to blow up Qatar. Yeah, until you actually look at the series of events and you understand geopolitics and you understand allies. So what happened in order of events was Israel, then America, bombed Iran. Iran didn't start anything, right? They were bombed first. And now, after being bombed, they decided to lash out to the nearest American allies, which we well know is Qatar because they just gifted Trump a fucking airplane, right? Dubai, all these places that they can actually hit with their missiles, Israel, they will hit because they were attacked. So they're responding to being attacked. If you stopped attacking them, like now, right now, I'm almost certain that they would not attack any more of their neighboring countries. Why is that so hard for anyone to understand? You could argue that they've been backed into a corner here. The US and Israel kind of did start this whole thing. It's almost like I say something and then the next commented below says the same thing. Because I guess we're all on the same plane of thinking here, and it's logical. It's not a surprise. It's not a secret. It's not higher grade learning, or it's obvious what's happening. And if you use your eyes and your ears and you look, you can see what the order of events are, and you can see what would happen. If your country was attacked, your country would respond by attacking either that country back, or if it couldn't reach that country, it would attack allies of that country. That is logical. That is war. That is absolutely... And they don't need a leader to conduct that. They don't need Khamenei or anybody else. Those are basics. Qatar has no ties to the USA ? I'm not even going to continue reading this comment because of the airplane. I mean, they have no ties to the USA, but they gifted him like $500 million worth of airplane. Right. Okay. Iran has this, if I'm going down, I'll take the world with me mentality. What else are they going to do? What should they do? Just surrender? It's one of the world's oldest civilizations. They've been attacked for thousands of years. They've been defending their country for thousands of years before America was even a concept, before most countries were even in existence. Iran, Persia was an empire, successful for a long time. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't going to be difficult for them to have plans in place if they're attacked. And they knew that Israel and America were coming for them. I mean, they were attacked last year, but they knew for a long time that this big attack was coming. I don't think this is going to go the way Iran thinks it will. Bombing your neighbors to force them to break ties with the US is only going to piss them off and ultimately have the opposite effect. I disagree. I'll tell you why. Because if Iran puts pressure on neighboring countries, those neighboring countries will put pressure on America, right? If you start bombing UAE and you start bombing Qatar, who are they going to phone? Qatar's going to pick up the phone and phone Trump and be like, listen, your war with Iran is having devastating effects for me. I need you to hold back on your bombing so that we can fix our shit, so that we can repair our industries. I mean, they don't want to be into it. They didn't even get a choice. They weren't even asked, like, hey, we're gonna start this war. It's gonna have blowback on you. Are you okay with this? No. Do you think they're happy with that? No fucking way. Here, let me fix this for you. Israel's attacks on Iran's South Pars gas field, which resulted in Iran's retaliatory attack on Ras Laffan LNG facility in Qatar, wiped out 17% of Qatar's LNG capacity for 3 to 5 years. Isn't it funny how the story changes when you add that small bit of context? Yeah, no, there are some Redditors that are definitely ignoring the fact that America started this war and that Qatar and all these places would be absolutely safe. And none of this shit would have happened if Israel and America hadn't done this. Or if they decide to stop it, you will find Iran stops as well. It's a tit for tat. That's what it is. So yeah, these controversial comments are infuriating because they don't seem to understand the logistics of war. They seem to just think it's Iran's fault. Oh, Iran's doing damage. Oh, it must be Iran's fault. So infuriating, but they're there, and we have to read them. We have to be able to get into the minds of these Redditors and understand. Well, we can't understand, but we can definitely read them out, and we can give them a platform, and we can say, hey, your comment, let's read it out. Let's see if it has any substance to it. Let's see if I have a rebuttal to it. Let's just put it out there and see how dumb it actually is. Because sometimes you have to do that. You have to look at the top comments, you have to look at the new comments, and you have to look at the controversial comments. But yeah, so there we are.